Hello, and welcome to the Mini-Grid Moment, powering communities across Africa. I am Lamide Niafia, CEO of the Africa Mini-Grid Developers Association, AMDA. At AMDA, we believe mini-grids are more than just infrastructure. They are catalysts for change, driving opportunity, resilience, and inclusive growth across the continent. The Mini-Grid Moment series is about telling those stories of visionaries, innovators, and communities transforming lives through reliable, clean energy. This podcast was made possible with support from INENSIS and the World Bank's Energy Sector Management Assistance Program, ESMAP. Their commitment to advancing sustainable energy access continues to power stories like these ones, showcasing how innovation and community-driven solutions are transforming lives across Africa. I invite you to listen, learn, and enjoy the podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Mini-Grid Moment, powering communities across Africa, the podcast where we spotlight mini-grid companies at the forefront of transforming energy access across the continent. I am your host, Abraham Mudasia. Today, we travel to Nigeria to tell the story of a company inspired by a pressing need and powered by vision, CEESOLAR Energy Limited. It began in 2017 with one simple but urgent question. What if unreliable electricity didn't have to define people's lives? For millions of Nigerians, life without reliable power is more than an inconvenience. It's a constant barrier. Businesses stall, students struggle, communities dim at sunset. In the middle of this, one young engineer imagined something different.
Meet Chibueze Eke, a visionary engineer and the driving force behind CEESOLAR. He is the Chief Executive Officer and the founder of CEESOLAR.
Why did CEESOLAR rebrand in the year 2022? By the year 2022, we had just closed our pre-seed funding round and we were building our pilot mini-grid. And what we realized was that up until that moment, the type of customers that we were providing services for were mostly those that valued power for productive use. And that made it clear to us that if we were going to, in everything we do it in a classic, sustainable, and innovative manner, then these are the types of customers that we need to ensure provide our services for, because we realized that customers who wanted to use power for productive use would value the sort of products we used, the sort of services we provided, and will be aligned with us. And that encouraged us to rebrand, where we focused on two colors, black and green, to show focus, to show life, productivity, innovation, sustainability. And this has been what has helped our brand over the years.
In 2022, CEESOLAR underwent a strategic rebrand to better align with its evolved vision, driving productivity and progress through innovative energy solutions. Chibueze Eke, CEO and founder, shares the inspiration behind this transformation.
What is the story behind CEESOLAR? Well, it's actually an interesting one. In the year 2017, working as a consultant, I was involved in a couple of projects where we needed to study the energy demand and supply gap in a couple of distribution companies. And what we discovered was that while there was a huge demand, which we all are very aware of, the supply was very constrained. And the only way to meet supply was for us to do things differently. And doing things differently meant that rather than rely on, plans to build large generation plants, large transmission, infrastructure, we needed to think differently. We needed to be able to look for solutions that were quick to deploy, better for the environment, and solar just ticked the box. And that was when CEESOLAR was born, because that was when it became clear that if we are going to improve energy access in the country, reduce carbon emissions, lead in the energy transition, we needed to move from the drawing board into the field. And that was when the inspiration for CEESOLAR, for the founders, came to bear.
Building mini grids isn't just a technical challenge, it's a financial marathon, requiring patience, long-term investment, and the resilience to navigate complex funding landscapes.
Joshua Solomon, CEESOLAR's Chief Operating Officer, sheds light on how the company successfully navigates the complex funding landscape that defines the mini-grid sector.
Our journey into the mini-grids really took off in 2021 when we joined the USAID All-On Off-Grid Challenge. We went in with the hope of testing our ideas, and by the end of the challenge, we actually emerged as one of the winners. That win came with a blended finance package of 100,000 USD, which we used to develop and construct a 27 kilowatt peak solar mini grid in Abaribara to serve 217 customers. That project was more than just infrastructure. It became our proof of concept, showing that we could deliver and that communities were ready to embrace clean power. Our first project gave us the momentum. With a working pilot in place, we were able to fully pivot into the mini-grid space and start scaling. Over time, we've been able to raise financing from partners such as Energize de Portugal, UK Research and Innovation through Innovate UK, the Rural Electrification Agency, PayHippo, and other local financial institutions through both grants and debts. Each round of support has helped us grow, but we're still very much on the lookout for equity partners who can bring in patient capital and share our long-term vision. Of course, it hasn't all been straightforward. Mini grids are long-term infrastructure projects, and that means they require patient financing, which is one of the toughest things to secure. Access to the right kind of capital has always been one of our biggest hurdles. Those challenges also push us to be more flexible, to keep learning, and to innovate in how we approach projects. Partnering with the local community has been critical. It builds trust, ensures sustainability also. Using smart technology has helped us to work around operational bottlenecks, and staying engaged with the funders and active policymakers have helped us to keep the conversations and to keep the relationships and the influence needed to keep moving. So yes, it's been challenging, but it's also been deeply rewarding. Every obstacle has taught us something new. And today, we're not just building mini grids, we're building resilience, partnerships, and a model that can power communities for the long term.
In a sector where patient capital is scarce, CEESOLAR has had to be both bold and resourceful. They have shown investors that mini grids aren't charity. They are viable, sustainable businesses that change lives.
All on, one of CEESOLAR's investors shares why they chose to back the company and how its model is proving that powering communities can also deliver strong, sustainable returns.
All-On conducted a thorough technical due diligence process during the selection phase, which involved reviewing CEESOLAR's technical capabilities, past performance, and adherence to industry standards. All-On implemented regular monitoring and audits, provided guidance on best practices, and required CEESOLAR to submit detailed reports throughout the project. This approach ensured that the project was executed safely and met all necessary requirements.
What sets CEESOLAR apart is not just how they build, but how they listen. Before every project, they sit down with communities, not to sell, but to understand. In one of their pilot community projects, CEESOLAR didn't just switch on the lights. They installed cassava milling machines that made farming more profitable.
Here are community members sharing how CEESOLAR's approach has transformed their daily lives, from powering small businesses, schools, homes, to making farming more productive and profitable.
Okay, my name is Sino Metsu. I'm a small, medium business owner in a Barabara community. I want to say ideally that the CEESOLAR mini grid light has really impacted my business and improved the operating cost. The truth is that before now, for operating costs, I used to spend like running a diesel, running a fuel in a generator. In most cases, to run a diesel 6 p.m. to most cases 12 a.m. Spend most cases 10,000 and above. But now, it is gladding that I spend less than that. Now, if I recharge my meter, my prepaid meter, I recharge less than sometimes 2,000. Before now, I close my business sometimes 9 p.m. I'm trying to avoid extra costs, but I can only do the business beyond that. I think it's a benefit, and so that way the business has benefited me. And beyond that, the energy supply has also helped us to boost my business. You have attracted a lot of patronage. Okay, also owing to the availability of this light, there is expansion in my business. I can have now more of hard workers. It means that that foster employment opportunity for other persons. As I employ persons, you see that I've employed people, and they are gladly working with me. So generally, the business also creates employment opportunity beyond the fact that there's expansion and improvement. It also creates employment opportunity for other people because of the solar energy light.
My name is Cecilia Edwin Daniel. I'm from Abayongo, Abayebara. There's a local government, Cross River State. Well, I am happy to be with CEESOLAR. I'm happy to have CEESOLAR around. CEESOLAR is a very nice company that has come to Abayebara. Ever since we start using these lights, there have been so many enjoyments in our land. We no longer use our shine your eyes. We no longer use our lantern. And such things are very expensive. To buy battery and to also buy kerosene is not easy. But since we start using our lights, we have been enjoying it. When you recharge 500 naira, you do it for even a week. It's very enjoying. In my house, I use it to watch my television. Also in my shop, I use it to cool my wine and also my pure water. So I'm encouraging everybody who loves to have these lights, because the lights is very good and very enjoying. In my house right now, I can warm my food with my electric stove. All is for the help of CEESOLAR. So I'm happy to have CEESOLAR with me. Right now, before we spend a lot of money in buying kerosene, buying lantern, buying and shine your house. But now we no longer spend such money. CEESOLAR is good also. My children are always using it to read their books in the night. Why before it's not like that? This lantern is affecting our eyes when reading our books. But with the help of CEESOLAR, we can read freely without any other problem. We also use it in our homes in the night to sleep very well. During heat period, we use our fan even in the night. All is for the help of CEESOLAR. We are happy to have you.
I am Ekpe Uwomiyo from Abayebara community under Abayongo Ward, Biase local government, Cross River State of Nigeria. I am making clear to everybody that this CEESOLAR that have come to in this community has made us to be happy, make enjoyable as much as it is. For other time we have been suffering because of no light. But now because of this light, we have been staying from morning to evening, from evening to daybreak. Enjoyment continues because of the light. And again, this light has made us, to have a cassava milling engine that you cannot buy fuel. You only plug it by the light and you grind your cassava. I said that even rice mill, you plug your engine with the light. When you plug it, you use it and then mill your own rice as you want it. Nothing that the light could not help us. The light make us, to make our life easier than before. So I am saying everybody have to appreciate CEESOLAR because they make life easier to everybody in this community. Thank you. In those days, when we add 20 liters of fuel in our engine so that we can use the light for either reading nor even preserving our perishable goods at the fridge. But today that we are having this solar, only 500 naira can last you up to 1 month, which make our life easier. So like what I'm saying, solar is very, very important to every community.
My name is Honorable Ezekiel F.B. Oholo. I come from Cross River State, just a local government. Abayongo Ward, Abaribara Tune. What made me to be saying this is because of what I'm appreciating the CEESOLAR company. Because number one, what they did for us, I so much like it. Like me, if I want to go and buy fuel to put in my generator, it cannot take me 1 hour to finish. That's the condition of it. Now, that's the reason why the whole of Abayongo, the whole of area missing, the whole of DSM appreciating CEESOLAR because of they're helping us. Like example now, I'm making use of a PU, grinding cassava engine under CEESOLAR. I may recharge money. Like example now, if I recharge 1,000, I may use it like 5 days. If I recharge 1,000 or 500, it may take me more than a week. That's the reason why I so much appreciate CEESOLAR company. Because they are making us to be delighted at any time. Now, if we go into fuel issue concerning fuel and generator or engine, it may not take us like that. So right now what I'm saying is that CEESOLAR is the most specific company that even heaven and the earth knows that is helping us. So now, I myself, so I was saying that I'm using CEESOLAR grinding engine of cassava. Inside it, my wife, Ugo Ezekiel Oholo, she's a tailoring. She's also making use of sewing machine. Without the CEESOLAR, we cannot work. But now, the CEESOLAR make us to be happy. My wife also have a electric iron, which is also under the CEESOLAR light. Even as I'm talking, I'm also making a use of a blender. You know, blender communicate with light. Without no light, you cannot have a blender. The blender cannot work.
My name is Mr. Yung. I'm from Mabaribara, Abayong, just a local government area, Cross River State. I am standing on behalf of God's Glory International Secondary School in Mabaribara, and I want to tell the world about the impact that the computer center that the CEESOLAR company have situated in my community, the impact it has created in our school. I think before now, our students have no knowledge about computer. But since the inception of this computer center, they have begun to know so many things about computer. Those who don't know the keyboards and other necessary things that we have in computer, they have known them now. And I think that this computer center has created a lot of things that are so beneficial and so meaningful to our students. And I want to also comment on the area of the teachers. The teachers have also been using the computer center in assessing the area of their studies so as to see how far they have gone in the academic performance of the students. So I want to say that the computer center we have here in our community, the CEESOLAR company have installed, it has done a lot in our community, and especially in our students.
My name is Gideon Okam, and I'm the community liaison specialist at CEESOLAR. I'm also an indigenous of Abaribara. I first met CEESOLAR in 2021 when they came to my community with the vision of providing reliable power. At that time, I was still a university student studying electrical engineering. and I saw it as an opportunity to learn about renewable energy while also helping my community understand the positive impact the project could bring. In 2022, shortly after graduating, I officially joined CEESOLAR. Over time, I grew into my current role as community liaison specialist, where I engage with communities every day, listen to their needs, and make sure the project we deliver truly connect with the people they are meant to serve. Our pilot mini grid in Abaraba really shows what that means in practice. It wasn't just about switching on the light. CEESOLAR also introduced cassava milling machines that made farming more profitable for local farmers. They could process their harvest faster, save time, and earn more income. We also worked with the local school to set up a computer center. For the very first time, the children who had never seen a computer were able to sit in front of a computer and began learning digital skills. For me, being from Abariba, I've seen firsthand how access to energy can transform lives. It's also not just about electricity, it's livelihoods, it's education, it's opportunity. And that's why I'm proud to do what I do at CEESOLAR.
These acts of corporate responsibility, from schools to health centers, became templates for other projects. Suddenly, access to electricity didn't just brighten homes through lighting, it powered possibilities and expanded futures. Building and operating mini-grids in rural areas is never straightforward. Developers like CEESOLAR are vast contend with weak infrastructure that makes transporting equipment costly and slow, poor roads that delay installation and maintenance, and persistent financing bottlenecks that make scaling difficult. But instead of being deterred, CEESOLAR adapted, finding innovative ways to mobilize resources, partner with communities, and design business models that could withstand these hurdles while still delivering reliable power to underserved areas. To overcome these challenges, CEESOLAR adopted an ecosystem model that goes beyond simply supplying electricity. Instead of viewing power as the end goal, they pair energy access with productive use equipment and services, such as milling machines, cold storage, water pumps, and digital tools that help households and businesses put electricity to work. This approach not only stimulates local enterprise and income generation, but also ensures steady growth in demand for power, creating a virtuous cycle where the mini-grid becomes both commercially viable and socially transformative. In doing so, CEESOLAR opened up new revenue streams while empowering communities to thrive.
Joshua Solomon, CEESOLAR's Chief Operating Officer, explains how this ecosystem model strengthens the company's financial sustainability, creating impact-driven projects that power and drive productivity within communities.
We discovered early on that for mini-grids to succeed, the power has to be used productively. So expanding household consumption only gets you so far. The lights, the fans, maybe a TV, right? So instead, we shifted our focus to catalyzing productive customers. That's how CEESOLAR Energy Access ecosystem was born. We integrated clean energy with tools that power livelihood. Things like the cassava and rice mills for farmers, packaging machines for retailers, and even electric tricycles with charging and battery swapping stations. The impact has been incredible. Farmers process harvest faster and even earn more. The traders keep goods fresh and longer. Drivers save money with e-mobility, and because people are now using power to run business, not just their homes, demand for electricity keeps growing. In short, also energy becomes more than light. It becomes income, mobility, resilience, and opportunity. That's what makes our ecosystem thrive.
Through the solar mini grids and the productive use initiatives, we have actually seen a lot of businesses thrive. We've seen public centers like schools and health facilities operate more efficiently. And we've also seen women-led enterprises expand with a lot of confidence. A very great example is the Owekora mini grid at Bayelsa State, where we deployed an 80 kilowatt peak hybrid solar mini grid last year. Before the project, the residents generally they relied on diesel and petrol generators, which, as we all know, are costly and unreliable. Unreliable in the sense that with the scarcity sometimes, the community might have the money to pay, but there will be no availability of that product. So it's generally unreliable. Other times they might not have enough money to really purchase that, and it affects their businesses. But since the commissioning of the mini grid, the story changed. We know that now farmers are able to process and preserve their produce. The students can study at night, and then entrepreneurs, people that we like to call commercial businesses in those communities, can actually power their businesses. Some have fridge, some have diffusers, they're able to power those businesses and then actually provide better services for their customers. In fact, in one of the testimonial videos that CEESOLAR and Olon had put out, we had one Mr. Isaac Timmy give a testimony of how before the solar mini grid, he struggled a lot with unreliable power and then the expensive petrol generators he operated. And since the introduction of the mini grid in those communities, since the deployment of that solution, he was able to get more steady power supply, and then his business was actually transformed. The tailoring machines were moving and doing well without interruption, as well as cold storage and light to run other businesses, especially at night for those communities. So generally at CEESOLAR, for us, the essence of the work we do is in the impact, is in powering productivity, as our tagline says, because when clean and reliable energy powers not just homes, but also businesses and livelihoods, then we know that there can be sustainable growth across different communities.
The lesson is clear. Mini-grids are not just about containers, wires, panels, and the technical act of supplying electricity. They are powerful engines of community transformation. By bringing reliable energy to underserved areas, mini-grids spark new economic activity, create jobs, and empower local entrepreneurs to grow their businesses. They make it possible for schools to extend learning hours, health centers to operate life-saving equipment, and households to access modern conveniences. In short, mini-grids do more than providing power. They unlock opportunities, build resilience, and lay the foundation for inclusive and sustainable growth. Behind the scenes, technology is the quiet force making everything work seamlessly. At CEESOLAR, the grids aren't just built and left behind. They are designed to adapt. By using a modular approach, each mini-grid can expand step by step, growing in capacity as households, businesses, and entire communities demand more power. Smart metering ensures every unit of electricity is tracked fairly, giving customers transparency while helping the company manage usage patterns efficiently. At the same time, remote monitoring systems allow technicians to detect and fix problems before they escalate, reducing downtime, cutting operational costs, and ensuring communities have reliable, affordable energy when they need it most.
Gideon Okam, an engineer and community liaison specialist at CEESOLAR, shares how technology and human connection come together in the field, ensuring that every innovation truly meets the needs of the people it's meant to serve.
Remote monitoring works by continuously sending real-time data like voltage, currents, power factor, and load patterns from the meter back to the utility or system operators. So how does it help with faults? I'll mention a few. So it helps in early detection of abnormalities. Smart meters can flag unusual conditions such as sudden voltage drops, surges, reverse power flow, or frequent outages. These are often early signs of equipment faults, overloading, or tampering. So by spotting them early, the utility can take action before they turn into a major problem. It also helps in fast fault localization. So when remote monitoring, the utility doesn't need to wait for consumers' complaints or send technicians out blindly. The system pinpoints where the fault occurs down to a feeder, transformer, or even an individual customer's connection, saving time and resources. It also helps in preventive maintenance. So by analyzing trends in the data, utility can see when equipment is under stress. For example, consistently high load on a transformer or irregular voltage swings might signal that the asset needs servicing. Addressing it early prevents unplanned failures. It also helps in reduced downtime because the utility can identify and sometimes even resolve issues remotely. Consumers experience fewer and shorter outages. In some cases, supply can be rerouted automatically until repairs are made. And finally, it's improved grid time reliability and safety. Remote monitoring can help utility ensure that the network is running within safe limits. Detecting faults early reduces risk like equipment damage, fire hazard, or blackouts. So when people hear smart meters, do you often wonder what exactly makes it smart compared to the old electricity meter? Okay, let's start simple. Think of a smart meter as a smartphone version of the old electricity meter. Instead of just silently counting energy until your bill arrives, it actually measures, records, and sends information about your electricity use in real time. So inside these smart meters are tiny electronic sensors that constantly check how much power you're using. A built-in computer processes this information and the meter automatically sends it to your power company through secured communication network. That means no more estimated bills, just accurate, up-to-time data. And here's the best part. You get access to this data. You can see when you're using the most electricity, identify waste, and even save money by changing your habits. So in other words, a smart meter isn't just counting, it's helping you and your provider be smarter with energy. Okay, now let's go a bit deeper for those who want in the technical side. So a smart meter works by measuring both voltage and currents using electronic sensors such as current transformer or Hall effect sensors. These signals are converted into digital forms by an internal microcontroller which calculates active power, reactive power, and total energy consumed. So the processed information is stored in memory, displayed on the LCD screen for the consumers, and then transmitted to the utility via communication modules like the GSM or the RF mesh, and even the power line communication, or even Wi-Fi. So because this meter captures readings every few seconds or minutes, it provides highly detailed timestamp data. Frequent automated measurements eliminates human error and measures precise billing. So the two-way communication also allows utility to monitor grid health and detect tampering and even control supply remotely when needed. In short, for every customer, the smart meter is a tool that makes energy use more transparent and manageable. For utility and professionals, it's a mini data center at the edge of the power grid, capturing, processing, and transmitting accurate real-time data. The consumption data from smart meter is much more than just numbers on the bill. It's a powerful tool for understanding demand and building trust within the community. So first, we need to understand demand. Smart meters provide detailed timestamped data that shows exactly when and how people are using electricity. For example, you can see if demand spikes in the morning when people are preparing for work, or in the evening when families are at home. This demand allows utility and operators to forecast demand more accurately, plan generation and distribution efficiently, and also identify peak load time and prepare the grid to handle them. So by knowing this pattern, utilities can balance supply and demand better, reduce stress on equipment, and avoid unexpected blackouts. And also to build community confidence. When people see that the utility has accurate, transparent data, it builds trust. Customers no longer have to worry about estimated bills or unexplained outages. Instead, they view their own usage in real time, get advice on how to save energy and money, and also have confidence that the system is fair and accurate. At the same time, community gain confidence in the utility ability to respond quickly. If an outage occurs, the data shows where it happens and helps restore power faster. In short, consumption data helps utility understand the community energy need clearly and gives the community confidence that the power supply is reliable, transparent, and well managed.
CEESOLAR's journey began with a clear mission to bring electricity to communities that had long been underserved. Over time, that mission evolved, moving beyond simply providing electricity to enabling productivity, powering small businesses, and supporting livelihoods. Today, CEESOLAR stands at a defining moment, proven in delivering reliable energy and unlocking economic opportunity. The natural question now is, where does this journey go next? From a single idea in 2017 to a company now powering livelihoods and local economies, CEESOLAR proves that in underserved communities, innovation shines brightest. And with every village it lights up, CEESOLAR isn't just delivering electricity, it's powering productivity and igniting the future. CEESOLAR Story is one of resilience, community empowerment, and vision. What began as the founder's dream to bring reliable electricity to underserved communities has grown into a company proving that mini-grids do far more than lighting homes. Through their work, CEESOLAR turned vision into reality, powering businesses, fueling livelihoods, and showing that access to electricity is access to possibility. That's it from us on the Mini-Grid Moment. Share this story, follow CEESOLAR on social media, and visit CEESOLAR.com to see their impact in action. This podcast has been made possible with support from INENSAS and the World Bank's Energy Sector Management Assistance Program, SMAP. Their commitment to advancing sustainable energy access continues to empower stories like this one, showcasing how innovation and community-driven solutions are transforming lives across Africa. Until next time, keep shining the light.